Chukwu ka ị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka ị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ụmụ eliwa yikọta n'otu, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ka anyị jikọfe ya ofufe Gọdian, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Gọdianism bụ ịhụnanya n'udo, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Butere anyị ụzọ kpetara anyị azụ, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ise ya
Yagazie ndewo, bịakwute nna, bịakwute nne, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Come to the Holy Spirit of Chineke and find peace. We are in troubled times, so I can't imagine a better time to ask for the peace that Chineke brings. Our souls, our spirits need healing. There are so many things that are going on. Man's inhumanity to his fellow man is just getting out of, if I may use that expression, whack. And this is a time for us to kind of settle down and ask ourselves, what is even our purpose here? What are we doing here? This is a good time to do that. So, Byakuteya Biazurike, come to the Creator and find your peace. Let me ask you to please remember to follow us on African Spirituality Chiism Live YouTube and Chiism Live on Facebook, and also follow us on Global Faith Ministries of Chiism, Godianism on Facebook. I'm Oke Dibia Dr. Uwa Onyioha Osimiri, and I'm your host today, as always, on Chiism Live. Let me introduce my co-host before we get started today. Dibia Ochuaja.
I'm going. Go. I've let the gray kind of seep through.
The wisdom. Wisdom.
Yeah, and I don't know how long I'll keep that, but I might go
That's
one more go at it.
what happens when you get comfortable.
Yeah, one more go at it, because I work from the house. Thank God for such luxuries. So because I work from the house, all my technology stuff I do from the house, I don't really go anywhere. So I just kind of let it seep through. Real age shows up once in a while. Dab it up a little bit. Now what's going to happen though on the trip to Nigeria? I'm gonna dive it up one more time, then let it go. So by the time I get there, it's all grayed up.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Gray and,
that's good.
That's the look I want to take back home.
Yeah, Uncle Yudi, you are looking good. Kuna Child says, and he says, Dr. Uwa Onyioha Osimiri. So, let me welcome Ukuna Charles and Nos of Rider for being with us at this time. And in offering prayer to the Creator, let us ask for intervention of sorts. But in this intervention, we're asking for everything we do today, this morning, afternoon, in the evening, may it yield fruit. Whatever energy that we have put out there, may it reimburse us, if you will. Whatever we have banked, may we withdraw. Yesterday afternoon, Chineke say if we did a good thing yesterday, last night, we ask Chineke, we are going to claim it today. If everything that we do.
You see, my wife is back there.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Everything that we did yesterday, we are going to claim. We're going to bank today. Let every way of our lives be light, all our acts be found with good, and may the world prosper by our ministry. And so it is. I see that she's giving you your coffee. That's what she's doing.
We understand. Spin around just for a second and grab my cup of coffee.
It's okay. Day one. Today is very important topic. Fear. Ojo. Fear. Ojo. Our brother is not able to join us today because he got so much commitment that has kept him from us. Chiedozie Okoro. It's been a wonderful experience having him with us every Sunday. But he was next one. I'm getting ready, as you well know, to go and bury my mother. It's a very difficult thing for anyone to have to do. And sometimes we're full of fear. What does that mean? That's the end of the road for that generation. Most of the generations are gone. And you are the next generation. When the last one is gone, you're the next generation. So you get fearful. You start wondering, now what? But what we must remember is this is what life is about. It's a trade-off. Youth means you live, if you're lucky, you live longer. But as you get older and you become wiser, you're getting closer to becoming an ancestor. So the next thing is for you to take that journey. But it's not something that you should be afraid of. Spiritually, we should never be afraid of taking that next journey. Many people have taken it, so you're not going to be the last. You're not going to be the first nor the last. It is a debt that we have to pay. So for my part, I'm going to bury my mom. And I am saddened, obviously, as all of us are, that her generation is gone. In my family, she was the last living grandmother, grandparent even. And so she's gone now. So the next group is us. So what we do now is so important because we remember her good deeds. The question now will be, would anybody remember our own good deeds? And that's why we must put fear aside about the unknown. As Chidime, don't wait for what tomorrow will bring. Focus on what you're doing today so that when tomorrow gives birth, nothing but goodness will be the result. And you are part of that tomorrow. People will remember you because of what you did, not the fear that you had, but the fact that you did something. You gave people something to think about, to use for their own growth. That is the purpose of us living. Our time shall come. Nobody's going to live forever. Each and every one of us will leave this earth at some point. So today I'm going to talk about fear. Ojo in our Igbo language. You know, let me tell you about the mirror. The mirror doesn't lie. The mirror is one thing that never lies. What you see in the mirror is what exists. If you put your makeup on, the mirror will show your makeup. If you don't have makeup on, the mirror will not show it. The mirror will show you exactly as things are. But there are some people, because of that will not look in the mirror. Because when they look in the mirror, they may not like what they see. The true picture, some of the things that they do outside of that mirror, they can get away with. But when they look in the mirror and see themselves, they don't like what they see. So they may not want to look in the mirror. And some do look in the mirror, but what they see is something that does not exist. Because to know what exists makes them uncomfortable. Many of us live in this theoretical frame of mind. We want to be spiritual people. I wunde chuku, I ma Chineke, I neto Chineke. And it's all based on theory. It's all based on something we read in the book or something the pastor said. Many of us don't even take the time to understand what it means to be spiritual. Note the word that I just used, theoretical. When it's theoretical, it's just something you read. So most people who are theoretical spiritualists are the kinds of people that are curious. There's curiosity seekers. You know, they dabble in one thing and dabble in the other. They never hang around to see that thing or that dabbling means anything. It manifests into anything. Such people just love to read all kinds of books. Oh yeah, they understand the language. They know what it said. They will tell you, go to page this, go to page that. It said this, it said that. They understand. They go to conferences. They go to workshops. Workshops are good things. They teach you a lot. But when it comes to being a spiritual person, all it does, it tells you certain things. You have to live it to become a spiritual person. You see, when you don't live your spirituality, when problem happens, you become fearful. Because you never lived spiritual life. You read about it. You went to a workshop. You went to a conference. You learned all those things, but you never practiced it. So when bad things happen, you lose your mind. You get crazy. You're riddled with fear. You panic. And in a state of panic, a whole new you becomes apparent to everybody that meets you. You start to you start criticizing. You start condemning. This is what fearful people do. That all of a sudden they don't like anything. They criticize everything. In this state of mind, they lie. They become angry. They become unforgiving. They become judgmental. Fear will make you be what you're not supposed to be. If you don't learn how to be a spiritual person, you will become a theoretical spiritualist. There's a difference. Being a spiritual person is that you put into practice what you've learned. And what you've learned doesn't necessarily have to come from a book. It could come from life experiences. You practice what you learn. If you just read about it and you can quote it and you can regurgitate it, you are a theoretical spiritual person. And that's why those characteristics start to come out. You become you panic when difficult things happen. You haven't learned how to manage. You've heard how to manage it. You've heard how to manage fear. You've heard how to manage situations, but you have not practiced it. When you know nothing but theory, it's no good. You can't handle life if all you know is theory. And people, all of a sudden, they think that if you read a book, that's where all the information is. You can just take Chineke and just wrap everything, all the knowledge about Chineke in that book. And so those ancestors of ours who understood spirituality because they practiced it, you call them primitive. They don't matter. You call them illiterate. And then you make literacy, which is being able to read, more important than just being a person in the world, than having life's education. The more consistent and devoted the practice to your spiritual understanding, your experiences, the more you actually get yourself into the world, you will understand truth. And when you understand truth, you know how to apply it. But if it's all wrapped in a book, it's wrapped on theories, that's all it is. That's not to say you can't take theory and manifest it into reality. But the point I'm trying to make is you got to do that. You cannot achieve anything running from truth. And truth comes to you, not just in a paper. Truth comes to you based on activities you get engaged, things that you do. Now, I don't know, you probably don't know, but every day that you have breath, every day that you walk around, you probably have met a lot of people who are theoretical spiritualists. You know them by the way they act. When you meet them, you will know them. These are the people who, they don't have patience. They want to cut out. They want to leave. They're done. If you tell them, well, be patient, they say, well, I've prayed enough. Give a person a chance. No, I've forgiven enough. Thank Chineke, but no, I'm grateful enough. I've given enough praise. Those are theoretical spiritualists. Those are the people that are gripped with fear. When something bad happens, they panic. But see, when you're a spiritual person, when you believe, as we believe, as Chi's, that we believe in the spiritual traditions of our ancestors, we are reminded of that proverb that says, Echi dime. The proverb that says, Uzo dianya. That means the journey is long. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. The journey doesn't end today. It starts today. You can't focus on yesterday. The journey you started yesterday, you're on it today. If you're lucky, you may see it again tomorrow and you'll be on it tomorrow. If you are a traditional spiritualist, you understand the importance of continuously giving praise, continuously asking for forgiveness, consistently doing all that you can, not holding back. Open your hands. Let the blessings flow. You don't worry about what's going to happen. What would they say about you? You're not fearful of doing anything. I'm not saying that we're not fearful. Yes, of course. I'm just saying that it doesn't consume you. You understand that life, the journey is long. We understand that. Things may not happen as we want it, when we want it. But we're on this journey. So you don't have the luxury of saying, I'm done enough. Don't look for payback. You have to be grateful beyond measure. There's another proverb that our spirituality reminds us. And I say it over and over. I think I've said it numerous times. There is never anything that the eyes see that will cause it to bleed. I don't care what it is. Your eyes will never bleed because it saw it. Unless you put something in your eyes. Based on that, don't be afraid. You're going to see it. Something is going to happen down the road. Don't be fearful, because if you see it, whatever that may be, it's not going to cause your eyes to bleed. You may learn how to weave and bob and get out of the way, but it shouldn't stop you. We are all, as African spiritualists, we all believe. Now, we may have a different name for Chineke, but I believe that we walk with power. Monachiso, we walk with power. We're not saying that we are God, but we have the God essence in us. And if we do believe that God is powerful, then we must believe that we have some element of power that should see us through challenges and not be fearful. Atulegu. That's what we say, atulegu. Don't be afraid. What will be, will be. Sometimes you can't control it. Put your best foot forward, keep it moving. I say that all the time. There's the story about there's a part of my village where it's very, very dark. That road is so dark. Also is the name of the stream, because it has burial grounds around it and all that sort of thing, and it's pitch black, and you really have to be brave. And those who go down that road always say to them, Monachiso, I am one with the Creator. That means I have that element, that essence, that power within me to see me through. Don't be fearful. You cannot be fearful when you walk with the power that be. You have to believe it. You have to be it. You have to act it. What you believe in, the Creator believes in. If you're a weak person, you weaken your chi. You weaken Eke. Those energies are there for you to tap into. But when you refuse to do so because you are weak, you have weakened yourself because of what you have agreed, what you have absorbed, then it's difficult, not careful. Anything that you want, you can get. If you're not chocolate, for what you seek, so shall you get. So the question is, what is it you seek? What are you looking for? What do you want? You can have it, but you have to believe that you can have it. You have to believe that you can. We live in a world where every day we are told we're not good enough, we're too tall, too short, too fat, too everything. And sometimes being human, we absorb that. But your spirituality will have to let you know how to block out the noise of the world. So, akaraka, arige hupi hoop. You see, we all have this in our hands. The only way that you can erase that is if you cut off my hand, then I wouldn't have that anymore. But you can't eliminate it. You can't cover it. You can't use a razor and remove it, because that would be a crime. But akaraka, arige hupi hupu. That means whatever is for you is already for you. It's in your destiny. It's in your essence. Can take that from you. And if you believe that your essence is good, that your essence is powerful, then that's what you have to march through this world with. So you look in the mirror. When you're not afraid, you embrace whatever that mirror feeds back to you. The mirror does not lie. If you're not fearful and you look in the mirror, the only thing that the mirror will show you is a powerful spirit, a powerful person. Otito niile dịrị Chineke. That is the power of faith. That is the power of faith. Onyeze.
Agụ. I have nothing to say after that one. That's really the sum of it all, you know. Ikenga, very important. Akaraka, like you were talking about, you can't erase it. Being a spiritual person involves two major things, way of thinking about life and behavior and a relationship with the Creator, Chineke. One of them is an understanding that Madu Buchibe, we're like Chineke, like God to our fellow human beings, because most of your prayers are answered through somebody, regardless of what it is that you're praying for. The ones that are not tangible are the ones that you don't see. Like you get in a car, you're driving from Atlanta to California, and you get there safely. And somewhere along the line, things that could have impeded your progress or that would have been very, very detrimental to your physical and maybe mental well-being was moved out of the way invisibly without you even knowing that such dangers lay ahead or were around the corner somewhere. Those are invisible things. And it's very powerful because those you cannot control. They're unseen. Then the other aspect of spirituality is an understanding that life-sustaining forces is divine and must be respected and must be taken care of, because without those forces, life will not exist. Whatever plans you have in the future will never come to fruition. If the air around you is horrible, you will die. If the water you drink is not pure, you die too. If you don't get enough rain, the crops won't grow, you're liable to starve to death. And the animals that you eat will probably die of thirst, including you. So nature is very important. As a spiritual person, you have to understand that and take care of it. And don't separate it from Chineke, from God, because that is God's blessing and love for all mankind. The resources that sustain and keep us alive are just as important. And then your fellow human being, the one who, through God's mercies, your blessings flow. You have to take care of your human being just like you take care of your environment. Because without people, you will die too. I've never heard anybody pray to Chineke and then look up and see that blessing falling from the sky. It usually comes through somebody else. And like I said before, the one you don't see, the invisible one, is in your karma. Somewhere right in front of you, less than a second in front of you. Because less than a second in front of you is your future. Less than a second behind you is your past. It's gone. That 1 second is gone. It's not coming back. So people that will interact, people that you depend on for services to keep you safe, to treat you the way you would like Chineke to treat you, with respect, with dignity, understanding that the human race is one race. It's not about I'm African, I'm European, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that. We all live on this earth. If something happens to this earth, it's not going to matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Chinese or whatever. It wouldn't matter. Maybe we come together when there's an external force that threatens us all. That's when all of a sudden our system, methods of God worship, nobody cares about that. We don't think about it anymore. We don't care about race, the color of our skin, our ideologies. We don't think about all that when we're collectively threatened. Those things disappear. So you ask yourself, why is it that when there's an external threat, and usually the external threat we talk about is not about space aliens, because that would definitely bring us together. But an external threat, they say the Earth, COVID-19. When COVID was at the height of its power, it didn't matter what color you were, because COVID doesn't care if you're black or white. It just comes at you. Being spiritual is recognizing a relationship with life-sustaining forces and also a relationship with one another, because most of Chineke's blessings flow through people. And we have to have a level of expectations in the way that we live our lives. Bad things are going to happen. It's just the way it is. You pray that it doesn't happen to you. But you have to always look and keep things in perspective. And I'll give you an example. I think in 2004, there was a tsunami that happened in Asia, and it affected Africa and most of Asian communities. And it killed about 300 and some thousand people. Almost 400,000 people lost their lives. And a lot of people were sitting around talking about the fact that if God exists, that wouldn't have happened. That natural disaster would not have happened, which is a bunch of malarkey. Nature is part of those life-sustaining forces. It wasn't God that told us to build hotels by the beach, understanding that an earthquake could cause a tsunami. It's part of the natural process. It's part of what makes the earth a living planet. Just like you can eat something and throw up, the earth can also throw up stuff. Just like you eat to build yourself up, earth also eats to build itself up in all kinds of capacity. And as a matter of fact, some of the food that the earth has to eat to continue to evolve and sustain life is you. When they put you in the ground, you become part of the soil. Your body will nourish the next plant that is coming up to give oxygen into the atmosphere that is going to continue to sustain animals and plants alike. My people, you have to keep life in perspective. Things happen. It doesn't happen because God doesn't love you. It just happens because it's part of the process. And you pray and hope that your behavior, the way you relate to your environment and your fellow human beings, will bring positive karma your way. Because in this thing called life, there's going to be a victim somewhere along the line. And that victim will be taken by nature, either by your fellow human being that is part of nature, or by your environment that sustains you. You have to keep life in perspective. It is not everything that is bad that happens that you have to blame Chineke for, blame God for. God made the world a paradise for all of us. And what we do with this gift of life is up to us. You can raise your kid, teach your kid all kinds of stuff, provide for your child, but there's no guarantee that your child is not going to end up a terrible adult. You've done the best you can, but you can't control what your child does in the end. You cannot. And I look at that relationship of a parent and Chineke as our parent. Chineke has given us everything we need, and we mix it in the right proportion to sustain ourselves. Most of the things that we learn in life is through trial and error. Through parenting, your environment, your relationships, the friends you make as a child, your aunties, your uncles, your environment plays a role in who you become. But there's no guarantee for your success. You have to put things in perspective, understand that bad things happen to good people and good things also happen to bad people. And I'm going to go even deeper. Most people that believe in Chineke believe that Chineke created everything on the God's green earth. If you include the water, it's blue and green earth. Well, I got some news for you. You may not like this news, but I'm going to share this philosophy by asking this question. Does good exist without evil? Does evil exist without good? Can there be a right hand without the left hand? Does life exist without duality? metaphysics, the spirit and the physical, your physical body and your spiritual self. Without the spiritual self, why do we talk about reincarnation? Why do the Christians talk about heaven? Why do we talk about the afterlife if we don't believe in the spiritual part of existence? Life, spiritually speaking, religiously, whatever you want to call it, is about the physical and the spiritual. Good does not exist without evil, and evil doesn't exist without good. They need one another. So if you believe that Chineke created everything on the God's green earth, including our behaviors, then you must accept the fact that evil is divine and exists because it's ordained by the Creator. Not because Chineke wants to use evil to kill you, but because its existence is crucial for you to understand what good is. You have to have something to compare something to. You have to. Without daylight, there can be no night. Without night, there can be no day. Night is scary because you don't see what's in the night and coming at you, but it is essential for life to exist. If it was daylight all the time, everything would die. And if it was nighttime, the plants will not grow unless you adopt to either one, light or day. The world might just end up like the desert. If you wanted daylight so bad that it's always day and your dream comes true and it's daylight 24/7, life becomes a desert. If you think that life is all about good, 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 then where is your sense of appreciation and spirituality of that good that you so seek if evil or bad is absent? This isn't coming. This is deep thinking. What I'm trying to do is help you through the philosophical aspects of life and how to look at things when negative things happen, how to look at your relationship with your fellow human being and your environment. Bad things happen, but you have to look at it and take it in perspective and look at it the right way, look at it as a balance. There has to be a balance. I read a book by a man called Jonathan Hart back in 1982. And he made a statement that evil, war, famine, hurt, natural disasters is healthy for the human population because it helps to maintain a balance between the population and food supply. At that time, I was like, oh my God, this guy is evil. But as I've grown up, became a man, start to get off into Chiism, Gaudianism, and look at things a little bit more philosophical, I begin to understand that his statement is absolutely correct. We all dream of utopia. And the reason why we dream of utopia is because this is what we would just love life to be: milk and honey. The land of milk and honey and gold, paved roads, whatever that means for any culture. Whatever the good time means to you, we would just love to see that. But unfortunately, that's not the way life goes. Life says that for you to experience good, there has to be evil. And for you to experience evil, good needs to exist. So don't panic, my people. Good and evil are strange bedfellows, but that is the strange truth of life and being a spiritual person. An appreciation for the bad, because without it, good does not exist. And that's my lesson for today.
Yagazie, you know, I think that the more we talk to people about who we are as spiritualists, the more we have a opportunity to show them that there is no difference. You know, it doesn't matter what your religious belief is.
Yeah.
There are some principles that we all practice. We all practice it. Practice faith.
Yes, absolutely.
We all, in our own little worlds, we all experience fear.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to talk about grace today. And he's not here, Chiedozie, but I just kind of want to touch up on what grace is. You know, you may be sick, you may be wanting of something, and all of a sudden, just when you have given up hope, somebody comes to your aid. And what do you say? It's the grace of God.
By the grace of, yeah.
By the grace of God.
If not for the grace of God, yeah.
Yes, by the grace of God. It's wrong to say for the grace of God. Now, for the grace of God means that you're doing it for God. But if something happens to you, you say it's by the grace of God. But how did Chineke make that grace happen for you? Through another human being. So the grace of God is not a mystery. The grace of Chineke, if I may use that, is when you spiritually acknowledge people around you.
Yes.
What's around you, that's when you start identifying grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the potential avenues by which you can experience grace.
Yes.
It's all around you. It's in that little man in the street that you laugh at. Your house may catch fire and you can't get out. I was watching a video where this woman was just walking her dog, and she saw a house burning. The people inside didn't know the house was burning because the smoke was coming from under. She saw the smoke, but she didn't see people running out, but she saw cars in the driveway, which meant that people were in there. Either they were hurt because of the fire, maybe they had, they took in the air, carbon monoxide, or they are not aware. At that moment, she could have minded her business, couldn't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
She didn't. Instead, she ran to the door and started banging. Your house is on fire. Your house is on fire. She didn't know if anybody could hear her. But at that moment, Chineke was creating the opportunity for grace to happen.
Absolutely.
So when you say by the grace, that's why you have to treat your fellow man very well.
I mean, 24/7.
You don't know where it's gonna come from.
Yeah.
They showed that I was watching children were playing in the street. They were having fun. All of a sudden, from nowhere, a Rottweiler started racing down the street. The kids were playing. They didn't see the dog. But the dog was heading their way. And you know.
Of course.
You know what was about to happen.
It's trouble.
This young African-American man, and you can find it if you go to the internet, young African-American man saves child from dog attack.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
You see that video?
Yeah.
He was minding his business, but he turned around and saw that. What did he do? That was grace working.
Yeah.
The grace of Chineke was about to happen. That poor baby could have been mauled to death. The other two escaped, but one couldn't. But this young man saw what was happening and instead gave himself, sacrificed himself for that baby. So the dog then gave chase, left the little one, and went after her, giving the child the opportunity to escape.
Yeah.
But he was injured. The young man was injured, but it wasn't life-threatening.
Selfless.
You see what I'm saying? How does Chineke work? How does grace happen? It is getting a blessing that you didn't expect.
Yep.
Like maybe you don't even believe that you deserve, but it comes to you anyway.
Through somebody.
Through somebody. One
way or another. It will come through somebody.
One way or another. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So this woman is standing in the grocery store and he noticed a young man fishing in his pocket. Looking for, she's not wealthy. She and her husband, they just believe in giving money. Whenever they can, they'll just give, play forward because somebody was good to them in the past. You see what I'm saying? So what happened? She's standing there and she sees this young man who needs who's foraging in his pocket for cash. There was no cash. He tried to use his card.
ATM, yeah.
But his card, not in the ATM, in the store, but it didn't work.
That's what I wanted to say.
It didn't work. The card didn't work. And the guy was standing there a bit, frustrated. And this young woman who was like a little ways down in the line came around and said, that's okay, I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. Well, everybody else was watching, I'll have you know, probably because they didn't have any money or whatever, but they were all there. They saw what was going on. So, but she went around. She didn't know who this gentleman was. So she says, that's okay, I'll take care of it. And paid for it. Only to realize he's a country star. A country music star.
Wow.
I can't think of his name right now. He's very popular. Gosh, I can't think of his name. He has a very popular wife. And she kept looking at him and said, well, you look familiar, but nah, it couldn't be. Why would a rich man like this guy, this popular guy, come here? But what it was, what had him not having money, right? It's just that the card just did not work. So every attempt to use it, it just, has it happened to you before? It's happened to me several times. You go there, you say to them, what do you mean? I've got money in my account. What do you mean it doesn't go through? Sorry, man.
You're totally shocked.
You're shocked and embarrassed.
I know I got money in there. What are you talking about?
You're trying to tell you that I have money in there. What do you mean? It wouldn't go through. Well, that's what happened to this country star. And guess what? When you talk about grace worked two ways here, right? The gentleman, when you're a star, when you're money, you got all that. You never know that someday reality will happen to you, right?
Yeah.
He's a multi-billionaire. This is not supposed to happen. He was on a tour and he had to run in to get something only for this to happen to him, right?
It happened to Shaq.
He was shocked.
At Walmart, they told me he ain't got no money. Shaq is like, man, I got $300 million in the bank.
Yeah, $300 million in the bank, and I can't cash $10 to $5. And as a matter of fact, it was $5. So I mean, he didn't carry any cash. So, well, grace worked for him, right? His issue was managed, but for instant fame.
Yeah.
Trust me, Judy, when I tell you today, she doesn't have. Do you know who his wife is? Nicole Kidman.
You're serious? Oh, I know who you're talking about. Nicole Kidman's husband. He's a country musician.
There it is.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's a big star himself. She doesn't have to worry about anything else in life. So when Chineke works, when grace comes to you, it is not always based on what you expect. And it's not Chineke coming from anywhere and handing you anything. And grace comes from another. Go ahead. You can't set, how do I put it this way? And this is very important. You can't look at blessings and your relationship with your fellow human being on a spiritual level and then put markers on it or say that this person has to satisfy this criteria, right? For you to accord them the same respect that you expect from them. For example, some people say, some women want to get married. They say, I want a good Christian man. Then you wait and you wait. Meanwhile, there's a good man who doesn't even believe in God. There's a good man who's, chaste or whatever, a Muslim or whatever it is. But the criteria that you set was good Christian. But you were emphasizing the Christian and you forgot the part that was most important. Good man.
Yes.
Because a good man will love you regardless.
That's right.
And do right by you. But you put this criteria that is just not feasible by saying the Christian. So you sit there, you wait. All the good men come and go. And you're still waiting on this particular person who is like almost, not that he's non-existent, but they're very limited. And you're not the only woman in the world. This good Christian man could be from the Middle East, right? He could be from Canada. Are you over here in Onisha in Nigeria waiting on this particular guy to show up from Canada? And well, it ain't gonna happen, okay?
That's right.
So, like the story you just told, it was somebody who's supposedly ordinary, runs into this person who is rich, And it is the rich person who is supposed to be having this problem that is really a non-problem.
Yes.
But by showing Chineke's grace to this man, even though you didn't necessarily have the funds to help, but you helped anyway because you just didn't want to see somebody going through what this person was going through. That in turn became your blessing. And you got blessed because you showed this grace. You weren't non-judgmental. You didn't say this guy came to the store. He should have known if he didn't have any money, he shouldn't have showed up here. You made no judgments. You just saw somebody who needed to be blessed. And you put yourself out there, you blessed that person, and in turn, you got blessed, and you never expected that.
That's
so
right.
Do not set expectations on blessing that you seek, because the right blessing will come to you once you show enough humility.
Yes.
And enough grace.
Yes.
To do what is right.
That's right.
Don't worry about where the chips fall. It will fall in the right place, but
right.
Just do it.
That's right.
You want to win the lottery? Buy a ticket. Yeah. You want to have fun jumping out of the airplane? Put a parachute on. Put the armor of Chineke on, the armor of God on, and go on about your business. What does the armor of God entail? It entails humility.
Mm-hmm.
Not being judgmental. Your story is no more sweeter than somebody else's story. We all got a story to tell.
Yes, yes.
It just depends on what story you're telling and in what environment or circumstances that story is being told. Show humility. It is a very important aspect of spirituality, of having a spiritual life. Humility.
You know that song, Yudi? You know that song that we sing, and there's a part of it that says, asị na mmadụ niile ndị bi n'ụwa ha ga-ekwu eziokwu, ha ga-ekwere ihe nkwuru mere eme, ọ dịghị onye ọbụla Chukwu si na ọka ya mma, ọ dịghị onye ọbụla ka ibe ya mma. Asị na mmadụ niile ndị bi n'ụwa ha ga-ekwu eziokwu, ha ga-ekwere ihe nkwuru mere eme, ọ dịghị onye ọbụla okwu ya kacha ụtọ na ntị, omenala anyị bụ eziokwu anyị.
Where obedient, show humility in everything that you do. Stop judging.
Don't judge.
Judging.
Yes.
Listen, let me just say this, right? Judge not.
Yes.
So you shall not be judged. It's not a Christian thing.
No.
Not a Muslim thing.
No.
It's part of life. That's a spiritual, moral obligation that you have as a spiritual.
But that's what I'm saying to you, Yudi. That's what I said earlier. When you're fearful, that is an offshoot of fear. When you're fearful, then you're judgmental. You lie. You do everything that's wrong because you are in a state of panic.
Yeah.
And when you panic, you don't know how to handle the matter, so you lash out. You see?
Exactly.
So you have to find humility in life. You know, take your time and learn. Practice. Practice, not theory. Remember, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah. You know, I'm just trying to hop on a little bit more of what you were talking about. You know, we always want blessings from Chineke, and we talk about it, and you know, God bless me, but then we forget that getting blessed often requires a lot of work from you. Because what you put in is what you're going to get. Not all the time, because like I said before, bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people.
That's right.
But if you pray, there has to be some work and humility behind your prayer. You know, you want to win the lottery, go and buy a ticket.
Yeah.
You want to be blessed with good income, go work hard.
Yes.
Go to school if you have to. Start a business. Do whatever. Right. You don't want to die from speeding. Don't speed.
Don't speed.
Be a defensive driver. Do the best you can to do what you need to do to get the results that you want. It's never guaranteed.
That's right.
The thing is, our expectation always comes with this guarantee. Well, if I do this, this will happen. No.
Yes.
I bought a lottery ticket don't mean I'm going to win the lottery. But I have to buy the ticket to get a chance to win.
Yes. Yes.
So buying a ticket doesn't guarantee me winning it. It just says that if you want to win, this is an imperative.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with life. You want certain things, there's certain actions that you have to undertake. It doesn't guarantee anything.
That's right.
But it says that for you to get what you want to, you must do this. So be willing in humility, do what is necessary to get to where you want to go, to attract the right people in your life that becomes a blessing, and then maybe your prayer will come true. But you have to do the work.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, if you want something, it doesn't happen when you want it. I'm always remember the old lady in Nigeria, dressed in, she wears that same outfit every single day. Yeah. She goes to the stream, she washes it, she wears it again, she starches it. Every day you see, say, no, remare. I said, no. He said, I'm here. And you know what he says? I'm happy with what I got. If I get more,
absolutely.
They sing that song. Onomani yechume, aye, onaye chume, burulesia maye, onaye chumu ejim George machono ma gerem, onaye chume egunge nyoma. He says that just because I have a problem doesn't stop me. Yeah. It doesn't stop me from wearing my lace. It doesn't stop me from singing. It doesn't stop me from anything. I'll keep walking.
That's it. Hold your head up high.
Keep walking. Yep. Keep moving. And on that note, we're going to end because I wanted to stay with it 1 hour because I want to play this again since we're going to Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Kunna Charles. Thank you, Nosferatu. Let's see who else here. Thank you. Johannes Diem, thank you, Organize. Thank you guys for joining us. It's always a pleasure. As you all know, please wish us travel mercies as we prepare to go home to Nigeria. We're not going to have another show until we return. The other shows will be 2 people that will take our place while we're here, while we're not here. But Yudi and I will not be here until we return. Okay, thank you, everyone. You have a blessed day. I have to end. Okay. I have Kachifonu. Kemesiano, rather, because Kachifo, Kemesia. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Bye-bye.